Aloha and welcome to the Everything You podcast channel. My name is Nicole Smart. I am the host of the channel. I own NX Coaching, which is a fitness coaching business helping women to take control of their bodies and to lose weight, to build strength, build muscle, but primarily to know that they can take control of their own health and fitness through nutrition and exercise and lifestyle habits. That was the reason for me creating the channel, but it's kind of gone in a different direction. So we've got a podcast as well that's attached to the channel. We have different ladies on to talk about how they prioritize their health and their fitness, what that looks like for them within their careers, their family lives, and the things that they have learned over time that has helped them go from strength to strength. So over this year, we've had lots of different ladies from different walks of life, some ladies that I've worked with in NX Coaching, and then some ladies that are friends or friends of friends to come and speak about how their view to fitness has changed since they started work, since they started building their own families, and since, you know, the years have gone by and their bodies and their minds and lifestyles have changed. If you go back a few episodes, you can see we've done 9 episodes so far of all different ladies talking about their health and fitness and just the different things that can come up through those times where things are tricky and more challenging. And one of the things that really does help when we start looking at where we want to be and making progress and moving things away from where we are is goal setting. And goal setting is something that I've been doing for a number of years, and it has been completely invaluable. I love setting goals, and I love obviously crossing them off and achieving them, but I love being able to see how much power I have over my own life and the direction that I can go in. So over the years, I've set a number of different goals with a view for where I want to be. So, you know, goals in terms of business, or before I started my business, kind of the business that I wanted to build, the kind of women that I wanted to work with. I guess the atmosphere and the culture that I wanted to create within my business as well. I've also done it for my acting career because, you know, I've been acting for a number of years. And it's something that does need constant reevaluation, constant work in different ways, sometimes mental, sometimes physical, just given how tricky an industry it can be and that there's no clear trajectory as there is with some other industries. It needs a constant kind of reevaluation. Do I still want to do this? Where am I at now? Where am I likely to get to in the next few months? And what are the things that I can do to move myself forward and to not feel disheartened or to feel bad? A number of different things that I have created goals for, and I love getting to the end of the year and just looking at how much I've managed to achieve. And, you know, and sometimes you can't always achieve everything. I think it's really important to note that as well. Like, you can't always, you know, cross off absolutely everything because life happens, you know, like things happen with work, things happen with family, friends, stuff that you have no control over. But what is nice, the things that you can control are the things that you can work on and work towards as well. And so when I plan my goals out, most recently over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I have been sectioning the goals into health, acting, business, money, relationships, family, just so it gives you, I guess, a clearer picture of what needs to be built within each of those little sectors and the things that you would like to achieve, but also how you're going to feel too. So I've just gone through and done that, and it's been really, really helpful. It's been funny actually getting to the end of the year. So I wrote these specific goals in July 2025. So summer this year, and we're in November now. So it's just looking at, okay, where am I at and what can I try and make a beeline to really get before the year is over. And the fitness ones, actually this year, I hadn't got as many of those as I would have wanted to by this time. So it's quite interesting. The other things have been taking precedence, I guess. So like acting, I've ticked off everything in there. So one of the things with my acting is that I was auditioning for quite a few things this year and just not feeling good about it. I wasn't feeling good about my audition technique. I wasn't feeling good about my singing. I wasn't feeling good about a lot of different things. And I said to myself in the summer, right, I just can't do this anymore. It's time to either do it properly or just jack it in, because it was just getting to the point where I was getting an audition, not feeling good about it. and it was kind of going the other way. I was getting an audition and feel worse than before I got the audition in the first place. And I was like, this is not what this is for. Previous years I'd done acting classes, I'd kind of reconnected with the script and with text, reconnected with getting some regular practice in. I'd found a class that I really liked that I would go to on a regular basis, met a network of people, which was great. But I think the thing that was kind of missing was the element of play. So even within the class, it was great, but you'd kind of get your script sent to you via email on Tuesday. You'd learn it for the Friday. You'd go in, you'd workshop it and everything. You'd play around with it, but it was still very quite serious, and it's great, and I will always return to that class. But I needed something that was a bit more playful and a bit more a bit more imaginative. And I found that also when I was approaching these scripts, that I wasn't really thinking outside the box. I wasn't thinking of what I could do to make it interesting. So most recently, or in the last year, my boyfriend would help me do my self-tape. So my self-tape requests. So he would do, the person that I was playing opposite, and I would obviously read my lines. And, he'd be like, why don't you try this or try that? And I was thinking, how do you find such good ideas? And I just felt like I was so stuck with trying to portray what I thought the person on the other side would want to see when they're watching the tape, or what I needed to be. And it was like, actually, do look at character. Character is built from the person. Obviously, there are things that need to be addressed within that character, but it's all up to the individual. It's your individuality that will get you the role, because no one else is like you. So just trying to do some kind of blanket performance or some kind of blanket approach doesn't really make any sense. So I decided that I needed to do something that was going to help to open me up and play a little bit more. And that thing was improv. So I thought I either wanted to do comedy, like stand-up comedy, improv, or clowning. So if you know what those things are, then great. Improv is obviously improvised scenes. It was something that was quite easily accessible for me. And there was a course that was going on and not too far from me. So I was like, right, I'll do that. And so I signed up to 8 weeks of that. We did the performance at the end of the 8 weeks last night, which went absolutely amazingly. It couldn't have gone any better. It helped me to kind of free things up and not think about things too much. When you're doing improv, you can't think about anything other than what you're doing in front of you, because there's no time. You have to play with what the person has offered you, and you have to create from there. So it was just really, really nice to be able to do that and to be part of something that was just, even though it is part of performance and part of acting, it was completely separated from it in my mind. It will be a useful tool to help me when I do go back into learning scripts and things like that. That was number one. Number two was that I wanted to start singing regularly. And so what this looked like for me was, I thought I was going to have to find like a singing course specifically, but I didn't do that. I did find spoke to a couple of people, but actually, I remembered that my friend, one of my really good friends that we were in the same class, drama school together, she was offering singing lessons. And I approached her because I had asked her before, what are you charging for lessons? And, what are you doing? What are you offering? And we kind of delved into it a little bit, but I forgot. So I got back in touch with her and I was like, do you think we could have some singing lessons? I explained my positioning as to where I was at with the singing and how I felt about it. And she was like, yeah, sure. Let's give it a go and see what happens. And it has been absolutely transformative for my confidence, just understanding myself, my voice, understanding where these tensions come from in the body that kind of make me feel inadequate as a singer or a performer. And it's been really, really, a useful thing to do. And I really look forward to it. So obviously she's my friend and we catch up, but also I just feel so comfortable, and she's just so, it's not only just, oh, you just sing this, but she helps me to understand my voice and my body so that I can create more of a connection to the sounds that I make. So what was happening with singing is that I was going into these auditions completely fresh, bearing in mind, obviously I trained 15 years ago in musical theatre. Since that time, people have been in the West End for 15 years. So I'm going into auditions with these people who have been performing in the West End for 15 years. And from one show to another, I've not been in the West End. So I was kind of just getting in my own head about it, not practicing in between. So going in effectively cold to try and compete with these people. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work, you know, like the last musical audition I had, I turned it down actually. And I said to my agent, I was like, look, I'm going to have to do some work before I start auditioning for these musicals again, because I just don't feel like I'm ready. And he was like, yeah, sure. I completely, you know, I completely understand that. And I said to myself, right, I'm going to put some work in every week. I'm going to sing. I'm going to, you know, build a nice rep folder. I'm going to get really confident in what it is that I can do with my voice and work on what I feel like I can't do with my voice. And go from there. So when January, February comes, the auditions start coming in again. And that's the thing that I was getting the most of. Mainly like plays with music in, or musicals. And I love musicals. I love singing so much. And I felt like I was kind of trapped in this place where I know that I can do this, but I just can't do it at the moment because I'm just not putting the effort in. I'm not giving myself that time and space. Yeah, I've been having singing lessons with my friend Jay. She's absolutely amazing. She's also training and acquiring more skills as a singing teacher or a vocal coach herself. It's really helpful. So everything that she learns, she's relaying over to me, which is awesome. So I've been doing that. And then the last thing actually is to perform regularly. So last year, I don't think I did any performances. I don't think I did one. This year, I've done 2 scratch nights, an improv show. So I did that last night. The scratch nights, one was in March and one was in July. And then we did another performance actually, again in the summer, of one of the pieces. So we did that. We're doing a performance on Tuesday, which is a piece that has been created by myself and my boyfriend. He's writing it and we're collaborating on the ideas and the story arc. And it's a play with music in, or I guess we're going to call it a musical. We're doing a 10-minute performance of it on Tuesday. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm really excited. And I can tick off that I've been performing regularly this year, because to go from not performing at all to going into auditions, it's like I felt like my throat was closing up. I was like, couldn't even sing properly when I got into the room, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I just really aim for next year, we're gonna develop the show. We're gonna write it in its entirety and perform it as so. So it's gonna be a one-woman show just for me. But some of the ideas that we need to play with will be, is it original songs? At the moment it's karaoke songs, which I really love. I love singing pop. That's my favorite genre to sing. Musicals, I guess. But we're kind of playing with, will it be pop, karaoke, or will it be original songs? I really, really want to write original songs for it. There's a couple of people who I would love to work with again on doing that. So we'll see what we get feedback from the scratch night. We'll do a few more scratch nights and see what happens actually, depending on how it goes on Tuesday. But it'll be nice to kind of get the feedback from the audience to see if they kind of connected with it, if there was anything that needs to be changed, and also whether it would be better with original songs, or if it's better to keep it with karaoke. If it's karaoke, we have the pulling in of maybe having a theme, whether it's 90s or 80s, 70s or something like that, and pulling in people that really enjoy that music. If it's original song, it will need a bit of more of a development in lots of other ways. So yeah, but we could still have the influences of a particular decade of music. So all really exciting things. So in terms of health and business, I think, you know, those have been things that, obviously health is ongoing and business is ongoing. However I feel is how the business does, because obviously I'm at the head of it, but we've managed to expand. We've managed to take on 2 coaches this year. So Tom and Anka, who are absolutely brilliant. We used to work together back in Raw, from 2018 to 2020, I think we were all working together, and you know, it was amazing. And then also got 2 assistants that work for me as well. So there's a team of us of 5. Sometimes my sister does some work for me, and then also sometimes my boyfriend does some work for me, and we work together on the podcast. So the team is really expanding, which is great. And that's what I've wanted to do. But obviously with that comes more responsibility and making sure that everything is where it needs to be. Clients are still getting results. Coaches are happy with what they're getting fed in terms of clients, in terms of, you know, building the business, and also my assistants as well, and making sure that they're doing the things that they like to do, especially if one of my assistants been with me for over a year. So it's looking at slightly shifting her role in the next few months, which is really exciting. And you know, all of these things are great, and it means that I think at the bottom line, I am a creative person, and this year I've been able to do so much more creative things within the business. So starting the podcast and the different types of content that I'm putting out, but also with my craft as well, and making sure that I'm able to work on it in lots of different ways. So I think without having these goals, it would be really hard to be able to measure that these things are happening. And yes, you do know when you're moving forward because you feel it, but sometimes you might not feel like, so for instance, I haven't had any auditions since, I think I had one audition since I turned down the musical audition in the summer, but that's a long time with no auditions, right? So it's like, I could be sitting here like, oh God, like I've had no auditions, but actually because I've had these goals and I've put those things in place, it's meant that I know that I'm moving forward. I can look at last year to this year and think, oh my God, I've managed to do this. I've managed to do 4 performances this year, you know, and also I've got another one come in. We've created our own work this year. I've also been singing and I've got so much more confidence with that now. Like, it's so easy to kind of think, oh, I'm not going anywhere, when you don't keep track of your goals. And this is what also ties into NX coaching. And the reason why our clients get such amazing results is because we set the goals and we're really specific about where they're going to get to, you know, and what's reasonable within a certain amount of time. And if you know what's reasonable, you know where you're going to get to, we can put in the smaller details that are going to mean that you get there. So from one week to another means that you're going to get a certain place by the end of the month, which means you're going to get a certain place mid-year, which means end of year, smashed it. You know, so that's what we do in terms of the coaching. That's how coaching works. Give them the tools to be able to put one foot in front of the other to get the goal. And that's what makes it so special, because yes, we are there in terms of we give them the tools, but the clients are doing it themselves. And ultimately, even if we were there or not, they'd be doing it themselves. But it's for them to know, I've got this, I can do this. All I needed was the tools for us to move forward so I can get there. But I've managed to do it myself. So it's been a really, really nice year. And I really, really advise setting goals. Like this, I have this massive book, which I've actually been writing in since 2017. This is how big this book is. That's how thick it is. I've been writing in it since 2017. My friend Katie gave it in a Secret Santa in 2017. And yeah, I think it was Christmas 2017. So my first set of goals are in January 2018. So yeah, it's been a really amazing book, and it's been amazing in terms of looking through it and seeing what I've managed to achieve for, you know, however many years ago that is. The quick maths is just not there right now. But yeah, like it's been a really, really nice journey, and I really do encourage everyone to set goals for themselves, especially when you feel like, oh God, like this isn't working, or, you know, I'm not moving forward, I feel stagnant. It really, really does help to set the goals, and it means that you have that power and you can see how much further forward you can push yourself. So thank you so much for watching this video. Apologies if it's been a bit rambly, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're also having a really good end to the year. I'll be back with lots more videos and lots more content, podcast episodes, etc. So if you do like what you hear and what you see, please like, subscribe and share so that we can build our following and keep on making great content for you.